Game Pass is currently at its peak right now. Obviously, there's going to be even more to come in the next basically 12 to 24 months, as they've shown off recently. And because Sony have now announced their version of Game Pass and shown it off and you can now buy it, this is just going to mean that they're going to be competing against each other even more until someone wins or at least has the dominant share in the market. Which basically works out great for us because honestly, it just means that we get even more games, which hopefully are better than the previous games that we've ever had before on Game Pass or on PlayStation Now, I think it's called. So yeah, one rule that I will be giving myself in this video when I'm discussing the Game Pass games currently is going to be that only one Bethesda Games Studio game can actually be on this list. So that does mean that other games that are within the Bethesda category can be, as long as they are made by Bethesda Games Studios. Otherwise, really, you could just say that most of Game Pass's great games come from them anyway. This video is being made for July 2022, so make sure to take that into account when watching this video, because obviously some things may happen, some better games may come on, or some of these games may come off of Game Pass. But all the games on this list are either Xbox exclusive games or have been on Game Pass for long enough now that you could probably say that they're not going to be going anytime soon. So yeah, let's just jump straight into this. So the first game on this list is for everyone who loves stealth, and honestly is one of my favourite franchises when it comes to the stealth market in general, and that is Dishonored. This franchise is probably one of the most underrated in existence, considering that a lot of people haven't heard of this game at all, or they have heard of it and they just choose not to play it. Dishonored will be presenting you with a Victorian steampunk world, which in the first game you'll be going to Dunwall, where you'll be following a character called Corvo, who is the bodyguard of the Empress, and the father of one of the characters within the game, which is Emily, and you'll end up meeting her very early on in the game, and she's a big leading factor to why Arno does what he does in the game. Arno will be falsely accused and set up to take the fall for the death of the Empress, and with that, Corvo will then try and fight his way back. I'd love to tell you more about this game, which I understand that it's 8 years old, so I could probably tell a lot of you what it is, and it wouldn't really matter anyway, but honestly, this game is so amazing, and you get so much more great content with the DLC and the second game, so obviously, if you wanted to play more Dishonored, you've got so much more there. Now, the next game on this list is a lot more of a fun game. It's a party game called Overcooked, which every single time anyone plays it is probably one of the most enjoyable experiences you're going to have in gaming, just because it's just great fun. In this game, you'll be cooking food. It's as simple as that. You'll be preparing, cooking, and serving food with your friends and family. No matter who it is, you could basically call this a great party game and have so much fun. Each time I've ever played it, I end up coming away from it knowing that I've had a great time and just wanting to play more games like it. It's also a big change of pace from a lot of the games that you're probably playing, as most of them require you to give your full attention and basically end up making you drained after the fact, versus this game, which yes, you have to put a lot of your attention in, but it's just a great time and so much fun. Assassin's Creed Origins is the next one on this list, and if you're someone who never really liked the Assassin's Creed franchise, or at least the old games at all, then this one will probably be something that you'll be a bit more into if you're into, let's say, RPG open world games. As this game is the first one that they decided to make a proper change in direction for the franchise. It's a big open world, somewhat of an RPG, but really it's a massive open world telling you the origin story of the Assassin's Creed. Well, you end up following Bayek, who is a Magi who is basically hunting down to kill the leader of an organisation that ended up taking part in the murder of his son. You'll follow him and end up killing every single Order of the Ancients member and find out who the first set of Templars were in the world of Assassin's Creed. And going around ancient Egypt is honestly something very special that no other game is going to come close to at all, and really gives you a proper idea into how the world was back then. Obviously, it's a fictional world, so there's some things that are obviously not fully correct, but it is a great version of Egypt that you're not going to get in any other game. One of the most underrated games on this list is A Way Out, which is a game that is loved by pretty much everyone who has played it, but is really unheard of. Published by EA, but this game will also require you to play with someone else. And the good thing is that only one person needs to own this game, and you could choose as well to play split screen. And this game will make you follow two guys who are just wanting to break out of prison because obviously, you know, they're in prison, so they have nothing else better to do. Now, this game is great as it gives you basically a good 1 to 4 sittings depending on how much you're going to be playing the game, where you could either play with your girlfriend, for example, or your family members. It's a great game with a very interesting approach in the modern landscape of games nowadays, with a lot of them completely not allowing you to even play split screen. Now, the next game on this list is basically the biggest game on the planet, and obviously has to be on this list because it's a Game Pass game technically, and it's owned by Microsoft, and that is Minecraft. I'm very well aware that pretty much most people have played this game, but personally I had to make the list as I love jumping into Minecraft every now and again and just kind of chilling out on any sort of world and just having a great time. And at least when you're playing it on Game Pass, you can have a world that you can just kind of jump into whenever you want. And as well as that, as it's Bedrock Edition, you can also transfer your save across different devices. For example, you could then play on your Switch as well. So yeah, if you're someone who's never really played Minecraft, or always found it just annoying because it was the most popular game to ever exist pretty much at this point, and your friends decide to make a server, you can at least play Minecraft, and this doesn't even have to be on Xbox, you can play it on PC as well through Game Pass. You all can jump on together and play and have an amazing time, and realistically, it is probably one of the most amazing games to play with your friends. Now, the last game on this list is probably one of my favourites to ever exist. However, what we're going to be talking about first is a game that is kind of just a spin-off of the first game, and that is the Forbidden City. This game was originally a mod for Skyrim, which eventually became its own game, as it was loved by the community and they were kind of just pushed in the direction of making your own game instead. In this game, you'll be playing and trying to work out what has happened to this mysterious place and mysterious city in general, and you end up finding yourself just kind of enthralled by what's been going on in the story of this world. It's an insanely well-crafted game considering it was only made by 3 people. Which then leads me on to the last game on this list, which if you couldn't guess it, by that little bit that I just told you about the Forbidden City, it is Skyrim, which if you haven't played it still, and you have Game Pass, just give it a try. It's probably one of the best fictional worlds that you're going to be playing in the whole of gaming, and it's an extremely amazing fantasy game. You can just chill in the world, spend hours upon hours just exploring and learning about this amazing world. This game is basically the bedrock of fantasy games in the 2010s onwards. You'll be the Dragonborn who is working on saving Skyrim and the whole of Nirn from the World Eater Alduin. This game will make you love the fantasy genre even more if you don't already, and honestly it's just one of my favourite games of all time, and I go back playing this game probably every year to every other year. And now that Bethesda are owned by Microsoft, it basically gives you the whole plethora of Bethesda games out there that if you want to play any great games, any great open world RPG games that is, or just RPG games or anything else, they've done pretty much most of it. And a lot of their games on there are amazing, so make sure to go check them out if you haven't. And honestly, if you haven't played Skyrim, I completely envy you, because I wish I could go back and play Skyrim as if I had never touched it. But yeah, with that all being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was enjoyable for you, and at least if you have got Game Pass and you're trying to figure out what games to play and you haven't played some of these, make sure to go give them a go, as honestly, they're great fun. So yeah, with that all being said, leave a like, do subscribe for more content on this channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.